What's goody to any and everybody who may be listening? Let's go ahead and talk about this shelter I just left, okay? But before I get into the full la, I'm gonna be talking about what got me to go to the shelter in the first place. Because, baby, I'm natural. I like to be in nature, and I like to be at the beach. I like to sleep on the sand. I like to hear the waves crashing, and I like to smell the sea and the salt and the fish. So, of course, I'm in a whole new state, and these laws in this state, baby, I gotta tell you about these motherfucking laws. It's very stupid. Okay, no worries though. So back in Los Angeles, I would sleep on the beach. You know what I'm saying? You know, the popo wouldn't bother me. Of course, eventually I became known. But anyway, the police don't bother you for sleeping on the beach out there in LA. It just so happens I came here, and these beaches are covered by parks, like these city parks and shit, and they're laws, and they have open and closing times. It's the taking the natural resources such as the beach and the ocean and the sea and putting a motherfucking park over it and putting them laws and shit up over it for me. Because who the fuck are you to be putting laws on something that's natural, that's right there, that anybody can go and access? Who are you to tell somebody that they can't go there after a certain time, or they can't be there after a certain time, or it opens at a certain time? Who are you? Okay. Now let me tell you what got me to go up here to this shelter. So I was minding my business, okay, being a human, being an unhoused human, who just so happens to be at home inside of my body, just like where everybody else need to be, but they ain't. Okay, and I was, sleeping out yonder on the beach when I was rudely interrupted by these police officers. And I gotta tell you, when they interrupted me, I was real mad because, bitch, don't you dare! I don't give a fuck who you think you are. This gang that you're in, you're backed by a system, bitch. Okay, now let me go ahead and call my life sparks back from that because I was real mean, and I'm trying to tell you, I went off on them. I decree and declare that any and all of my energy, light sparks, and soul fragments that were lost, or that had gotten caught up in the midst of that altercation that I got into with them three stooges of a police officers that came to bother me when I was out there sleeping. Because they got the nerve to put some laws and shit, but in a park over a beach that ain't got no business having no park, no city laws over it, are released, removed, freed, healed, and brought on back home to the mother, the father, and the child. Okay, so they got to talking to me, and of course, after a while I calmed down because they got I was matching energy at first. Then I just calmed down, girl. I just said, look, just calm down, hear them out. They offered me. They asked me if I was willing to go and stay inside the shelter, and I said yes. What I do think is that my stay at that shelter most definitely served a purpose. Well, the shelter I just left. But before I could get to that shelter, I wound up at a place where they put you in, like you got to stay there until you get placed into a shelter. Okay, now at this place it looks like sort of like an army base where you got all these, the thing with the tents and shit, and it looked like MASH. It gave MASH is what it gave. This place it looked just like something you would see on the television show MASH. And it was cool. Of course, the ground was hard. They didn't have no hot water. I got into an altercation with a girl. Not really an altercation, but this girl, I gotta get into her because I need my life sparks back from her. This girl was running around there. Now, I'm not the wishy-washy. I'm trying to tell you, don't speak to me one day and then the next day you got a problem. This girl had the nerve to be out all day wherever she was at. I don't know what she was doing, but the prior day she introduced herself to me, called me up to her, bitch. I don't need you introducing yourself to me or calling me up to you, bitch, because I don't give a fuck about you. That's what I'm gonna need these Dracos to understand. So, that next day, after that introduction, I was like, okay. So I said, oh, she cool, she alright. And I tried to call her on over, but anyway, before I tried to, she done came on back to the base, to the camp base, because that's what it looked like. And I don't know what she went through that day, but she decided that she wanted to come on back to the back, and she used her eyes to attack in some way, or thought she could, but she really couldn't. She couldn't, because my light's too bright. Though that don't work no more. Now, I tried to ask her a question, but she was real short with me, baby. I cussed her out. I wound up. I didn't cuss her out, but I was real stern with her, like, because I didn't need that. Like, if you was gonna act like this today, after coming up to me, bitch, all in my face, all in my shit, you could have kept that, because I don't give a fuck. I don't need that. I don't need that fakeness. I'm not gonna be fake with you. If I got a problem with you, I'm gonna say it. So let me go ahead and call my lights right there for that dumb little girl. I decree and declare that any and all of my energy, like sparks and soul fragments that were lost, that they got caught up within the midst of that little girl out there acting stupid with that damn hickey on her neck. And I was wondering, okay, so you got them two churn with you, you got this man up in there with you, and now you waking up with this motherfucking hickey on your neck. I hope you had them churn somewhere where they ain't see y'all or hear y'all. Are released, removed, freed, healed, and brought on home to the mother, the father, and the child. Okay? So it was not too long after that where I was placed, maybe 4 or 5 days. It took 4 or 5 days for me to be placed into a shelter by the name of IHS in Honolulu. Okay? So I get there, it's alright, it's cool, or whatever. Now, just let me say a few things about the rules and how things are ran now. Is this jail or is this a shelter? Is it jail or is it a shelter? Now, this is not unique to that shelter, IHS, but okay, homeless folk don't deserve no privacy. We gotta pee and dookie and shit in open stalls in front of folk. We gotta shower in front of folk. So homeless folk don't deserve no type of privacy. We just gotta be exploited and our bodies exposed to whoever come on up in there like it's jail. Now, I have a problem with that. I'm gonna have to call my light sparks back from out of that frustration. I decree and declare that any and all of my energy, like sparks and soul fragments that are caught up and lost within the frustration of these crazy ass individuals running these shelters, Ain't nothing but the shadow government running these shelters. And the homeless folk ain't got no sort of privacy. They gotta take a shower in front of everybody. Everybody gotta see them naked. Everybody gotta see them dookie and shit and peeing. They can't pee and they can't be comfortable peeing or comfortable showering. Are released, removed, freed, and brought on home to the mother, the father, and the child. Okay? Now, let's go ahead and break into these unqualified individuals that are in these positions um, on ego trips that like power struggles and things of this nature. We got to get on these individuals that are not qualified. Now, let's talk about the way they look at you. Like it behooves me why anyone, especially the place I just left. Now I'm gonna try my hardest not to be that mean, but I'm gonna be mean a little bit because ain't nan one of them motherfuckers up in that shelter that work there got no business looking at nobody in no type of way. Okay, looking the way they looked anyway. I'm finna be going in. Now, I gotta talk about this motherfucking social worker first. I'm gonna be getting on her first. What's her name? I forgot the bitch name. Elise. Now, she's one of the main ones. She will look. I've caught her looking at now. This is not exclusive to this IHS. This happens at homeless shelters, period, because these individuals working a job are not qualified. Aside from the fact that there should not be any homeless people in the first place. Okay? This is like that. This is purely Draco. That Draco bullshit. Okay? This hierarchy where these motherfuckers feel like they better. They look at the homeless people as if they better than the homeless people. Bitch, you must be out your mind. Okay, we are all down here in the root chakra of the body of a divine being that got hijacked by archons. Ain't none of y'all better than the next, bitch. Now, that frustrated me. I gotta come on like for bad. I decree and declare that any and all of my energy, light sparks, and soul fragments that are caught up and lost within the midst of having to see these workers who don't know where they going, don't know whether they coming or going, having to know to look at the homeless as if they were better, are released, removed, freed, and brought on home to the mother, the father, and the child. Respect. Now, it's serious power struggles as well. There are a lot of rules, and I got to tell you about this altercation that I got into with one of the workers. I don't know if they call it DMs. I don't know what you call it, the motherfuckers, but they sit up and enforce the rules and things of this nature. So let's start with this one with the dreads, who I really got into it with. Big chubby dude with dreads, and I know after I got let's just talk about what happened that morning. So it was not that big of a deal at first. All I wanted was some syrup in my oatmeal. All I wanted was some syrup in my oatmeal. I went on up there. I got the plate. The oatmeal be dry. And I asked the dude if he could put some syrup on my oatmeal. Okay? You know, the dude had a problem with it. It said they didn't have no syrup, knowing damn well they had some syrup. Okay, now I gotta tell you that I was real mad and disappointed that he didn't give me no syrup on that damn oatmeal. Lo and behold, you had this dude with the dress right there, smart mouth, talking about some this ain't Burger King, you can't have it your way. Whew. When I tell you that it might not sound like it was that big of a deal, but it set me off. that really, really set me off. Okay. And so after that, we got into a huge argument, and I got to raising my voice, and almost. I see the purpose. My purpose is not to cause a scene, but I'm gonna get up there. My voice is, but I was real loud, so it caused a scene, but that was not my purpose. He even called me a faggot, child, and I had to tell him real quick, yeah, mammy. You see, he didn't know who he was dealing with. And as well, I had to give him that arrow. I had to give him that old vicious mother in the solar plexus arrow. Now, let me go ahead and call my light sparks back from that. I decree and declare that any and all of my energy, like sparks and soul fragments that were lost and caught up within that altercation, and even that arrow that I gave, oh boy, for trying me, are released, removed, freed, and healed, and brought on back home to the mother, the father, and the child, which is none other than myself, baby. Okay? Now, so, after that, he had another try to put me out, child, as if he could. And it wasn't a thing because I was about to go upstairs and pack my shit. This individual, listen to what I'm saying. These individuals like their ego to be stroked. It's ego, it's power struggles, it's domination, and it's control. You know what? This individual had the nerve to tell me to leave and come back at 11. And then tried to play as if I couldn't go back upstairs and get my shit before I left. Baby, we got into it again about that. I had to cuss him out again. So I'm not coming back up here. I will not be back up here. I'm finna get my shit now. Is what I told him. Okay. So they let me back on up there to get my stuff, and I went on back up there and got my stuff and walked on out the door, walked down the street. But I hadn't left the area yet. But when I walked back up the street, though, he saw me walk back up the street. He called me back on over there. He apologized for his wrongdoing. He invited me on back in to stay. So I stayed. And now I'm just now up and leaving. It's been about, I'm going to say, a month. I done been there about a month now. Okay? Now, let me go ahead and call my life sparks back from that. After that, I could tell that because that was a brutal energy exchange. Now, he didn't know who he was dealing with. And I could tell that he knew something. He saw something. I could tell something funny. There was some funny business. I decree and declare that any and all of my energy, like sparks and soul fragments that got caught up, lost, stolen within the midst of myself coming on back up there to stay for a while. After he done thrown me out, are released, removed, freed, and brought on back home to the mother, the father, and the child. Okay. What's next? Now, let's go ahead and talk about, I managed to also get into I already talked about that. I ain't got to talk about that again. Let's talk about these cafeteria workers. Now, I did notice there was something going on up in that cafeteria, especially one day when I seen this candle lit up in there. Now, I do not do magic. For me, I don't. I don't do magic. I don't play around with candles and things of this nature. But I did see I happened to see a candle on up there, lit up in there, and I was concerned about it because what y'all doing with that candle lit up in that kitchen? What y'all doing with the candle in there? Let me go ahead and call my energy back because I was concerned about it. I decree and declare that any and all of my energy, like sparks and soul fragments that were caught up and lost within the midst of that moment where I seen that candle lit, or whatever the fuck they was doing with them candles, on up in that cafe, in that kitchen, are released, removed, freed, and brought on home to the mother, the father, and the child, baby. Okay? Now, what else are we going to speak about here? What else? Let's talk about the workers themselves. Now, the main lady, the big lady, she real big, she old. I could sense something. There's something going on with her. I don't know what's going on with her, but I do know she's like the wishy-washy type. She is tell you good morning some mornings, but it's like lately she been giving me fever, which I don't really care, bitch. Look at you. And bitch, I wouldn't care if you was a dime giving me fever, bitch. Fuck you. But let me call my life back from the whole kitchen. Not only her, but it's Miss Piggy too. Miss Piggy, and I'm not talking about Pinky, but it was literally a girl there by the name of Miss Piggy who worked in the kitchen. I ain't gonna be mean, all right? Because there's a lot that I could be mean about. I'm not gonna be mean, okay? And also the other guy, I forgot his name, but he got a Morris type energy. He's sitting around looking like Morris a little bit, with that hairline that's pushed all the way back, as well as that it's the walk, it's the way he moves his body, it's that trauma in his body, it's that slouch, it's that butt, it's giving all of that. Let's go ahead and call our life sparks back from the cafeteria, and every single one of them workers up in there, aside from the cafeteria, and every single one of the individuals that are the homeless folk that live there. I decree and declare that any and all of my energy, like sparks and soul fragments that are caught up, lost, that have been stolen by any of those individuals employed there. The cafeteria workers, the office workers, the nurses, the people who live there, the tenants, and things of this nature are released, removed, freed, healed, and brought on back home to the mother, the father, and the child. Okay? I decree and declare that any and all of my energy, like sparks, soul fragments that are lost, that have been lost, caught up, captured, stolen, within the midst of that experience as a whole, are released, removed, freed, and brought on back home to the mother, the father, and the child, which is none other than myself. Thank you.